One person is able to, two people actually, are able to cut the entire facilities within a matter of hours. So what do you mean you don't have facilities or bodies within campus to cut grass? Is there a reason why you have been unable to keep the grass kept for people to play soccer and cricket?
We try to get additional support for staff to attend to the
So
problem.
you have staff that you pay salaries
Yes.
inside the institution, insourced, who have the
Yes.
responsibility to cut the grass, who have not cut the grass.
The challenge, as explained earlier, is that
The question is a yes or no question.
yes.
I can't believe we're at Parliament talking about cutting grass, but here we are.
The challenge we have is to decide on the model whether we continue insourcing a whole lot more people versus outsourcing and looking at the model that balances with the
Dr. you're not
finances.
answering my question. When they go to work, irrespective of whether you're expanding or you're not expanding, it means they must do their job. So you're saying there are people that you pay to cut the grass. When you ask them why they're not cutting,
The grass is being cut.
They're
The
not-
fields are big. The campus has grown over time.
about the sporting facilities that the students are referring to, the size of this building. Subcontractors have written to complain to say that the main contractors are not paying them money for subcontracting. Do you know anything about that, Ndatamlete?
Not directly.
Okay,
not
do you know indirectly?
d-
Ndatamlete, why jwang ba sporting grounds e bo sa kutwe?
The ground is getting attention, Chair.
Ntate, why unzo sa bukuti nako e kaofela? Ke botsitse ka sort, let me try it in English. Is there a reason why you have been unable to keep the grass kept for people to play soccer and cricket?
I think the delay probably would have been the appointment of the team to assist us with cutting the ground, and as well as ensuring that we have got the finances to do the work.
Okay. How na 1 ranta 50 ranta that you can use to pay motho a tshwarang ngeyane tsa lerata ya ho kuta jwang? In your plan, you don't have those rents available. Because you're saying the problem is the finance. So let's deal with that. So you are saying, you're committing to say, the reason why you have been unable to cut grass is because you don't have money to cut grass.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Remember, the issue has been addressed around insourcing, outsourcing. So we do have currently the staff that deals with cleaning and the ground and everything. But in the work, in the event of doing the work, some of the work was probably not done accordingly, and hence we try to get additional support for staff to attend to the
So
problem.
you have staff that you pay salaries
Yes.
inside the institution, insourced, who have the
Yes.
responsibility to cut the grass, who have not cut the grass.
The challenge, as explained earlier, is that
The question is a yes or no question.
yes.
Okay. When
Okay.
when you have you engaged the staff to ask them why they didn't cut the grass?
Yes, I
What
have.
did they say?
As explained earlier, the institution has been growing over the years, but now the challenge we have is to decide on the model whether we continue insourcing a whole lot more people versus outsourcing and looking at the model that balances with the
Dr. You're not
finances.
answering my question. The conversation of a person who comes in at a particular time who's saying, "Ha kana mosebetsing a tjhaisang, a patalang salary, a kgolang at the end of the month," means or when they go to work, irrespective of whether you're expanding or you're not expanding, it means they must do their job. So you're saying there are people that you pay to cut the grass. When you ask them why they're not cutting, I can't believe we're at Parliament talking about cutting grass, but here we are. When you ask them why they're not cutting the grass, what did they say?
The grass is being cut.
They're
The
not-
fields are big. The campus has grown over time. Maybe you're not getting the point. The point is the campus has been growing over time. There's few staff members, so they are not keeping up with the workload that is there. So we have to explore on how to beef up the staff, and that's the process we have undertaken. Hence, I'm saying currently that has been attended to.
Ntate Malete, how many people do you have employed to cut grass?
I'll have to check the numbers. They're not on top of my head, but we can check.
But they are somewhere there between 5 and 10.
Yes, not only grass, they clean. It's
Yes.
like the cleaning stuff. Yeah, they clean the campus, they clean the grass, they clean
The
everything else.
reason why I'm asking you, bane, heso ke Jerusalem Park, ke tseba hantle campus ya hao, e ke buang ka yona. So when you're talking about a big thing, I ke utlwisisa o bua ka eng. The reason why I'm asking you this, jwang bo tshwantseng bo kutwe ba the sporting facilities that the students are referring to, a se jwang bo e leng hore bo feta le the size of this building.
Yes.
One person is able to, two people actually, are able to cut the entire facilities within a matter of hours. So what do you mean you don't have facilities or bodies within campus to cut grass? Ho kuta jwang?
The issue with the grass, Chair, is not just as simple as cutting. It's the repurposing of the whole soccer fields and the sports fields. So as you read in the report, you will see they have been doing a whole lot of work in maintenance of the whole field. So cutting the grass is not like you cut and people are gonna play. So we've got a plan of working on the sports fields, putting new soil, and making sure that the sports fields are appropriate for the work that we do. If you have been on campus, you will see how big the vacant lands are. That
I'm
needs
going to
attention.
pause you, Ntate Malete. So when there is an imbalance and you need to rebrand and revitalize the grounds, it doesn't mean that in the meantime they cannot be used until the process itself of revamping can start. That is the issue that students are crying for. Unless, President, I have a misconception or a misunderstanding of what the problem here is. And I need you to come in and correct me if that's the problem. But my understanding here is the facilities, if you have a planned budget coming in and you're going to start working to revamp it, in the meantime, the bottom line is just kutajwang. President, am I confused?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I don't find anywhere where there's confusion in your new sentiments, because that is what we are told, to say they haven't maintained the facility in that way. And it's not only specifically the soccer one, the cricket one, the
cricket
crease, the field
Yes.
for playing cricket, it has been completely removed, and no one
Yes.
seems to even patch that one or
Yes,
fix it.
yes, that's
It's
true.
something that is not actually taken care of completely, it's abandoned. And the storage of our sport facilities is merely just a shack that was temporarily built, I don't know when, and that is where our students put their equipment and everything on basis. Thank you very much.
Ntate Malete, so you said you have people that you employ for overall cleaning. Di toilete tsa batho ba bomme ba neng di sa kolongwakwe? I'm assuming you've talked to your staff and they've given you reasons for why they're not cleaning the toilets. Ba re mathata a bona ke bokae?
They are being cleaned, and they are clean now. The previous challenge we had was when we changed from one service provider to the other. There was a smaller period where maybe things went a little bit off, but
Right now, Ntate Malete, re dutse mo di toilete di a kolongwakwe.
very well.
Ho na le di dustbin ka hare ka moo.
Yes, the dustbins are in the process of being placed.
President, Ntate Malete is saying by submitting hore things are all right, says your presentation is false, that you are lying.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I did send attachments to the committee on my first presentation, and on this one I did say, I reflected firstly to say there's nothing much that has been done based on the first presentation, or unless otherwise I can also resend in about a week from now more images that prove. Because last time I checked, some of them are even closed, some of them, females can't even close them, they are just open like that. They don't have closing pins, don't have anything. Then the sanitary towels dispensers, they are not there. Last time I checked, they were removed everywhere. There are no even toilet papers as we speak in most of the toilets in our campus.
Ke a leboha, President, ke botsa tjena because ke tseba ntho o buang ka yona hore ke nnete. So I'm struggling to understand, Ntate Molete, why is there a disjuncture between the information I have, that the President has, and the one that you have? When last were you inside the lavatories yourself? Your body itself physically inside?
A few days ago, the toilets were fine.
O ile sa mannete wena ka nama ya hao?
Yes. I could also ask my colleague from resources.
Ntate Molete, the lecture halls, how much did DHEAD give you an infrastructure budget in the previous financial year?
I'll have to think of the figures, but the money we've spent in the last 3 years was almost 380 million rand for the Welcome campus.
Okay, so what is, in your assessment, the current status of infrastructure that still needs to be refurbished?
We do have a maintenance agenda, and I do agree there's a slight challenge because the budget we have is not sufficient to cover all the problems that we have for the many years. So maintenance is a challenge, I must acknowledge that.
So the construction that has been happening across years, Hona Welcome, subcontractors have written to complain to say that the main contractors are not paying them money for subcontracting. That is number one. Number two, that the contract value itself is not disclosed publicly for the public to know how much the contract value is. Do you know anything about that, Ntate Molete?
Not directly.
Okay,
not
do you
aware.
know indirectly?
The only information we have was on the enterprise development workshops we have, where the local enterprises indicated a need that they need to get preference in terms of some of the work we have on the campus. But as to who was paid, who's not paid, I'm not privy to that.
So at the workshop, when issues around contracting were raised to you or brought to your attention, what did you do about it? Or who did you seek to engage for help on the matter?
No, I think the plan we have with the participant was to start a proper enterprise development initiative so that those that feel like they are left out could be trained, especially on issues of compliance. How do you fill the documents? How do you participate?
I'm speaking, so you're addressing a secondary problem to the issue. The one I'm raising particularly is the relationship between the contract and subcontract. And I'm asking you this, understanding that there's only so much you can do, given that it's the contractor's responsibility to take responsibility for their subcontracts. But I'm just asking out of curiosity if you have had any attempt or anything in trying to resolve the relationship between the contractor and the subcontractor, particularly because when that relationship is not working, then mosebetsi wa hao sala morao wa construction.
No, not directly that we've done anything.
Okay. Now, Chairperson, how many minutes do I have? Oh, just one thing. So firstly, I mean, it is very odd that Nahawu brands itself as an organization that wants to champion the freedom of individual workers and the collective workers, but find themselves branded also as anti the foundation of liberalism, particularly because the founding principle of liberalism is the freedom of a worker, an individual, and communities. But we're not going to have that conversation about ideologies right now. What I want to understand from you is this. What is the problem about garage ya Sasol? What is your bone of contention? Because my understanding is that there was an agreement of franchising and everything. So at the heart of the issue, what's the problem about the garage?
Yeah, thank you very much,
Chairperson,
Honorable
don't
Member.
answer the
He
question
was not going to, there
No, no,
was no
sure,
question.
of liberalism.
No,
It's
I won't delve into.
Yeah, it's a
those
trap,
issues.
yeah.
We can have a discussion outside. Look, I think, Honorable Member, the report of management, details an evolution of that Bridgeport contract, starting from 1998
Ending
up until now. So they do admit that because the institution owns the property. It's a fueling station.
Yes, I know it.
And the understanding is that the institution is supposed to be generating income out of the fueling station. However, as we understand, the tenant is not paying much and is paying 100 rand as we know it. Hence, we're saying it's incumbent on management to clarify whether a business that is making a lot of money, selling fuel and other things and so on, is renting in a property 100 rand. So that is our bone of contention, that as a university we are supposed to be generating third stream. And I think the idea is good, but we feel that there is something wrong when a tenant is only renting
Is
that
the
kind of.
CFO here, Chairperson? Okay, CFO. Hi, CFO. Are you taking 1 rand, 100 rand? What's going on?
No, through you, Chair. I think I just want to clarify the transaction that we are dealing with. This is a transaction, is a triple P. On the agreement, yes, initial payment was about 1.2 million rand, of which it's an administration fee for 100 rand per year. But after the period of 30 years, which is coming due in 2028, we are going to take over as a ownership of the entire infrastructure for being now under the university. It means that from the 2028, that's where now the university will take full control of the transaction. The putting together the infrastructure, building and everything was done by the party. Then now we almost there in the next 3 years. That means that automatically is going to be now to be full under control of the university. That's where now the issue in terms of what was the next step from 2028, the university now have to engage to either we have to invite now in terms of the public tender, in terms of the leasing. That means that it will be in open tender in that. To look at the issue of in terms of the fair value in terms of the rentals from 2028.
Does that make sense, Lip?
Yeah, it does. They've explained it. We read it. We just wanted to know how much they are paying per month. That's all. Chair.